In order to get this guy, we needed the help of the community. We needed somebody to call in with information, something that they had seen or heard.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down the most dramatic heists of financial institutions that were initially tough to crack, but which were solved after an extended amount of time or in unexpected ways.
With so little evidence to go on, the police and the FBI knew that the crime of the century might never be solved.
Number 10. The United California Bank Burglary. The United California Bank Burglary occurred in a city in California named Laguna Niguel. On March 24, 1972, a group of thieves broke into the bank's vault by blowing its concrete roof with dynamite. They walked out with $9 million in cash and valuables, the modern equivalent of $63 million. The robbery went unsolved for several months. That is, until a very similar theft occurred in Ohio.
Agents review the intelligence gathered on the 6 members of the burglary group. All have long records for home and small business burglaries.
First suspect we're going to look
and
at
have done
today.
little jail time.
The FBI was able to link the two robberies, identifying the group and finding the townhouse they used as headquarters. They found fingerprints on the dishwasher, and with that, the robbers were identified and arrested. One of the burglars, a man named Charles Brockle, testified against his conspirators and went into witness protection.
In exchange for his full cooperation in outlining the burglary group and their crimes, prosecutors will drop all charges against Brockles and place him in the witness protection program. He agrees.
Number 9. The Lwów Bank Robbery. The People's Republic of Poland was rocked by a high-profile bank robbery on August 19, 1962. 6 men robbed the National Bank of Poland of 12.5 million złotych, making it the largest bank robbery in the country's history. While a staggering amount of money, it was all in specific print runs of 100 and 500 notes, prompting the Polish government to monitor those bills. And this worked. One woman soon attempted to deposit 18,000 złotych in a bank using some of that run of 100 and 500 bills, prompting the teller to call the police. And then later another woman tried paying for a luxury carpet with a $500 bill. Both instances led to an investigation, which in turn helped eventually lead to the arrests of the robbers. Number 8. The Dunbar Armored Robbery. It's amazing how often stupid mistakes lead to capture, like the aforementioned paying for a carpet in marked bills, or say giving a real estate broker a stack of cash inside a currency strap.
We were able to later determine the paper type wrappers actually came from some of the money stolen from the armored car company.
Alan Pace orchestrated the historic Dunbar Armored Robbery, which occurred in Los Angeles on September 12, 1997. Pace and 5 others robbed the Dunbar Armored facility of $18.9 million in cash, making it the largest cash robbery in American history.
In less than 10 minutes, they wheeled millions to the loading dock.
They drove off into the night and remained free for over 2 years. But then, one of the robbers, Eugene Hill, paid a real estate broker with cash bound in their original currency straps.
Hill stored a trunk filled with smaller boxes. He gave one of the boxes to the informant. It contained cash, still bundled by bank wrappers, totaling $100,000.
The broker called the police. Hill was arrested, and he went on to name everyone involved. Number 7. The Águila Blanca Heist. Before the Dunbar Armored Robbery, it was the Águila Blanca that held the record for the largest cash heist in American history, meaning White Eagle in English. Águila Blanca occurred on September 12, 1983, with a Connecticut Wells Fargo depot being emptied of $7 million.
A guard gave co-workers a knockout drug and stole $7.2 million. Agents in San Juan note that the guard in the so-called Big Sleep heist is Puerto Rican.
The crime was perpetrated by a Puerto Rican militant group dubbed Los Macheteros. An extensive investigation tracked those responsible, who remained on the lam for nearly 2 years.
And now, with the context in mind that this could be the armored car robbery, it started to make sense. The Macheteros had committed this robbery. They hadn't claimed responsibility for it yet, though.
Most of the suspects were arrested on August 30th, 1985, with leader Juan Palmer eventually being given a 65-year prison sentence. One of the members, Victor Herena, remains free and spent 32 years on the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives list.
Inside man Victor Herena remains the lone person still free, believed to be living in Cuba.
Number 6. Herman Lamb's Robberies. This actually isn't just one bank robbery, but many, and they were all conducted by a German immigrant named Herman Lamb. Lamb is considered a trailblazer in the field of bank robbery, influencing the likes of John Dillinger through his famous Lamb technique. When it comes to casing a joint before a major robbery, criminals have Lamb to thank, as he devised the idea. Lamb and his gang were considered the most successful bank robbers of the 1910s and 20s, stealing more than $1 million from dozens of institutions around the country. But just when the authorities were starting to put the story together, Lamb botched a robbery on December 16, 1930, and took his own life rather than be captured. Number 5. The Nokas heist. We again travel across the Atlantic, this time to Norway. The country's largest heist occurred on April 5, 2004, when a large group of heavily armed men raided Nokas cash handling. This was not a quiet robbery, as the gang used automatic weapons, smoke grenades, and vehicle spike strips to fight off the responding police. An officer was killed in the shootout, and the gang walked away with the equivalent of $10 million. The case went unsolved for about a year before 13 men were charged in 2005. Sentencing was handed down on March 10, 2006, with the men receiving a cumulative prison term of 181 years. Number 4. The Bank of Australia Robbery. Needless to say, it wasn't easy to catch criminals in 1828. The first bank robbery in Australia took place on September 14th of that year, with 5 men robbing the Bank of Australia in Sydney. The criminals dug a sewage tunnel straight into the vault and took off with a huge fortune, leaving the bank's employees none the wiser. The crime went unsolved for 2 years, until one of the men, William Blackstone, came clean to the authorities. Blackstone informed on his partners in crime, resulting in 2 convictions. The other 2 did not face punishment, as one was already dead and the other had fled Australia. Number 3. Johnny Williams Robberies. Considered America's most prolific bank robber, Johnny Williams stole from 56 savings and loans institutions between 1986 and 1993. One of his robberies took place in Solana Beach, California in 1987, when he stole $920 from a drive-thru and shot his gun into the ceiling. This act resulted in his nickname the Shootist, and he would go on to rob many more places with his wife and getaway driver Carol.
William's wife, Carol, bought a .38 revolver like the one in bank security footage. And Carol drives a red 4-door, registered in her maiden name.
His most profitable robbery also took place in 1987, when he got away with a haul of $43,500. But Williams' undoing came in 1993, when an accomplice turned him in for a reward.
Yet it wasn't just the agents and officers working the case who solved it.
Many times it's the assistance of the public that leads to the capture and successful resolution of these cases.
He was sentenced to decades in prison, but was released for health reasons in 2021. Number 2. The Society National Bank Robbery. Many bank robberies are inside jobs, and Ohio's Society National Bank case is one of them. On July 11, 1969, a teller named Theodore Conrad put $215,000 inside a paper bag and just walked out.
That case began on Friday, July 11th, 1969, when a 20-year-old Ted Conrad left his job at Society National Bank like normal, but was actually carrying over $200,000 with him in a paper bag. Then, almost like magic, vanished.
This incident occurred on a Friday night, and Conrad was already long gone when the bank became aware of the missing money the following Monday. Conrad moved to Massachusetts and began a new life as Thomas Randall.
To finally track down Conrad, who was living under the name Thomas Randall in Massachusetts, marshals don't believe he ever did anything like this again, and instead was married in 1982, had a daughter, and took up a pretty uneventful life.
U.S. Marshals didn't crack the case until 2021, when they matched paperwork filled out by Theodore Conrad in the 60s and Thomas Randall in the 2010s. However, Conrad had since died of lung cancer, making him the rare bank robber to have gotten away with it.
Investigators were able to match documents Conrad had completed in the 60s with documents Randall completed, including ones when he filed for bankruptcy in 2014. Randall died of cancer in May of this year.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Great Brinks Robbery. The name Brinks is synonymous with security, yet one of their buildings was robbed of nearly $2.8 million on January 17, 1950. It was the largest robbery in American history at the time, and it remained unsolved for years. And it might have remained unsolved if it wasn't for robber Joseph O'Keefe. O'Keefe eventually had a falling out with the rest of the group, claiming he was never given his full portion of the money.
The gang started to crumble. O'Keefe accused Pino of cheating him out of his share of the money and made threats to the men if he didn't get his due.
After a wild series of convictions and kidnappings, another member, Anthony Pino, then tried to have O'Keefe killed. Eventually, he ratted on his accomplices and had them arrested just 5 days before the statute of limitations was set to expire.
It was a disappointing victory. After spending 6 years and $29 million on the investigation, they recovered a measly $51,000.
What do you think was the craziest robbery mystery? Tell us in the comments.
Because I spend all my time chasing guys like you around the block. That's my life.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.